pronounced this wrong. Live. Cool. Okay.
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy?
No, don't say
Perhaps
that.
you need a short break. Something to lighten the mood and let you collect yourself.
Maybe.
Something like a nice cup of tea. Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of Tozu's Tea Time.
Oh my gosh.
If you haven't already, please sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip. Now, a question from me to you. What are sheep good at, if anything? Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding, absolutely nothing. Sheep cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music. Their limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tags. I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus, what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same. That they can be so determined to prove their worth when humans have all but deemed them microwavable meals. Isn't that something admirable? What a shame our sheep had to be so misguided. It seems that's about all the time we have. Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need for extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson. Who's Jack Robinson? I have no idea. Ta-ta!
Diana, now's your chance to defend yourself. Tell me what happened.
Alright. We back.
Where do I even start, though?
How about you begin by explaining why you went to the boiler room?
Why I went there? It was 'cause of a note.
A note?
2 days ago, someone slid one into my room. I never got to see who. I just heard a knock. And when I walked over, there was a note under my door.
I don't remember any of this.
Sorry. It was midday-ish, and you weren't there at the time. And I didn't show you the note later because, well, I'll just read you what it said.
Okay. Diana, as you are aware, it is our obligation to speak with those whose blackmail we've obtained. After receiving your blackmail and reading the information disclosed in it, I believe a meeting between the two of us is warranted. In 2 days' time, please come to the underground boiler at 8:45 a.m. Make sure to arrive promptly and close the door behind you. To avoid any discourse, do not show this letter. Do not approach me about it either, even in private. There's always a chance someone can hear. Wolfgang.
Wolfie wrote this?
Wolfgang had Diana's blackmail? But didn't he have Jean's?
Hold on a sec. If you take a closer look, the handwriting on that note, doesn't it resemble the handwriting on Wolfgang's note?
Actually, right. Even though Wolfgang's note has been water damaged, The words I can make out were in the same messy scroll as Diana's here.
Then someone else was posing as Wolfgang?
The killer, most likely. They must have thought his word was the only one Diana would follow.
Guess it worked, huh?
I didn't want to show this note earlier because I was scared of how people would try to twist it. Like saying I faked the note or that I decided to kill because of it. I thought it would be better to just stay quiet. I know you guys think I'm stupid for agreeing to meet in a place like the boiler room. And I am. I am stupid. I just didn't want to disappoint Wolfgang in case he really did write the note, which was why I left my room around 8:40 a.m. and went downstairs.
Did you catch any strange movement down there?
No, it was just me. I did find the boiler room door hanging open a little bit, but I didn't think much of it. I just went inside and closed the door behind me, since that's what the note asked me to do.
What did you see inside the boiler room?
The boiler room was really dark, so the first thing I noticed was actually the security camera light. My eyes had to take a few seconds to adjust to everything else. But after that, I finally saw him. Wolfgang was lying in the water, making these weird noises. It didn't seem like he'd even noticed me entering the room. Not until... Wolfgang? Hearing his name seemed to snap him out of his trance, because he slowly rose to his feet. Wolfgang, are you okay?
It's you.
Huh?
I can't believe it. I really am finally meeting you.
What do you mean?
Please, forgive me. Please forgive me for what I've become.
Wolfgang?
Despite how hard I tried, how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you. I will always be a failure.
It's okay, Wolfgang. Look! There's stairs over here. Come over here and we can get out. I have no idea if he didn't hear me, or if he was just ignoring me. But, okay. I'll get closer to you then. I went over to the ledge of the platform, the part where the fence had a gap. Just take my hand, okay? And I'll pull you out. He slowly stumbled over, and he held my hand. I didn't really think I could pull him out. I just wanted to be there for him. It was the best I could do, because I didn't want to enter the water. Staying on the platform felt so much safer. And I really, really hate that it did. It's okay, Wolfgang. We'll get through this together, all right? I was looking at him when I said that. I was looking right at him. But somehow... somehow I didn't think to react. When he reached inside his blazer.
Oof.
Bring her back. Bring her back!
Oh no.
I tried to leave the room, but the door was locked. I didn't know what to do. I started looking around for things to defend myself with. And that's when I saw the gun.
The taser gun? Did you use it?
I took the taser, and I aimed it at Wolfgang, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't shoot him. I just backed away from him. I couldn't understand anything. Why was this happening to me? Why was I being attacked? Why can't I do anything to...
I'm not like you.
I'm sorry to put commentary in between this because it's like a very dramatic moment, but oh my gosh. Like father, like son.
I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until everyone knows me as...
All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me, except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else. Even though I didn't see Wolfgang fall over, I heard it. His body cracking against the pavement. And his knife falling into the water. I waited for the gasp of pain, for him to groan or mumble or say something. But there was nothing. There was just me and the silence. That's how it happened.
What the? What the fuck?
That man attacked you?
Oh my goodness, Diana, I'm at a loss for words.
This is getting too much for me, bros. I think I'm gonna faint.
Holy shit. So Diana really did watch Wolfgang die.
Why was he so violent towards her? It's like he became an entirely different person.
The word you're looking for is crazy.
I'm like hearing the soundtrack. You like hear voices in between. What the heck? Okay, despite how hard I tried, how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you. Why would Wolfgang say those words in that particular moment?
How'd you manage to escape the boiler room after all that?
By picking the door's lock.
For reals?
I wasn't even thinking. I just started feeling my way back to the door in the dark. And then... well, my supply bag. I remembered the spare hairpins I always kept inside. So I felt around the bag and dug one out. To be honest, I have no idea how I managed to unlock the door. The whole thing was repeated trial and error. Just minutes of me telling myself that somehow this next attempt will finally work.
I don't feel like... why do I feel like Diana is not who she is? Like, I don't know. Ultimate cosmetologist? I'm gonna keep my eye on you.
Whoa! Actually unlocking the doors. That's like hitting a bullseye blindfolded.
Now we know why it took so long for her to escape.
I realized why it happened. Getting trapped inside, I mean. The door's lock was on the outside. So, someone must have set the lock before I came downstairs. So that when I closed the door, I'd be trapped.
The lock is normally on the inside too. The killer purposely flipped it, then left the door open so you would be the one to close it.
I hope it's not who I think it
the
is.
killer locked the door to begin with.
It was to frame Diana, right?
Right. The killer made Diana trap herself inside the boiler room, so they could kill Wolfgang in front of her, and force her to remain by his body.
That's vicious. Oh my gosh.
Diana would only be able to escape if someone from outside entered the boiler room. By which point, that someone would be stumbling across what looks like a cut-and-dry murder case.
If the tournament folk found Diana, they would have been playing right into the killer's hands.
Speaking of which... Diana, I'm curious to know, did you unlock the door before or after the tournament attendees arrived downstairs?
It sort of happened at the same time. Like, when I opened the door, there were already people walking down the stairs. Obviously, I couldn't stay inside the boiler room. If anyone saw me close to Wolfgang's body, it would look really bad. The hallway was a bit easier to make out in the dark, so I walked over to a wall bordering one of the storage closets and hid behind it, and stayed as quiet as possible. I was still bleeding a little from Wolfgang's cut, though.
I
and
see.
Some of that blood ended up dripping onto the floor around me.
It's the blood on the underground floor! It's all coming together!
This was shortly before us tournament goers split up. And you made a run for it, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Down the hallway, up the stairs, and then as quietly as possible into my room. Since everything was still really dark, I had to patch myself using the Tozu trinket's projection as my light. I realize this is a lot, and I know it's hard to believe without proof. So, if you guys could just give me a second.
Reaching into her makeup bag, Diana pulled out a wipe, scrubbing her at her arm.
I cleared up the blood pretty fast. Luckily for me, the cut wasn't that deep. There's still a chance it may leave a scar, though.
Holy crap!
That's awful!
Sheesh, man.
It's okay. I'll cover it back up again.
Why did Wolfgang attack you for no reason?
I wouldn't say it was for no reason.
You're being kind of insensitive, man.
Huh? I didn't mean it like that. What I'm trying to say is, Wolfgang's actions may look random from an outsider's perspective, but from his perspective, well, judging by his behavior, it seems like he saw something which shook him to his core.
Like, there was something in the room that Diana didn't see?
Yep.
That's impossible! It was only me and Wolfgang in the boiler room!
I don't believe Jean meant it in a literal sense.
Wolfgang literally saw something?
He thought he saw something, is my point.
You mean he had been hallucinating?
Yep.
What did Wolfgang hallucinate for him to turn out the way Diana described?
You'd be surprised by the sort of things our minds can invent. I'm lucky to have never experienced anything myself, but I know some who have hallucinated nasty things. Demons and monsters, or the feeling of being tortured. If Wolfgang went through something similar, I can see why he lashed out.
Now what the heck is going on at sea?
Of course, these hallucinations don't just happen out of the blue. More often than not, they're substance-induced.
Substance-induced?
Just say Wolfgang took a hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenics?
One which induced a lot of fatigue, too, judging by the way he lumbered about in Diana's account.
It would explain why Wolfgang mostly stayed in one place.
One place, which happened to be in the water.
Seems very deliberate, aye. I reckon the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious in order to drag him into the water, but knew he would eventually wake up again. So they drugged him with something which would basically make him despondent. As for where the drug came from...
Don't tell me the killer robbed...
The pharmacy.
You exploring it was a bad idea.
It? What's this it we're talking about?
The pharmacy, obviously. Why the heck did we think leaving that place open was a good idea? Now someone's stolen an item and drugged Wolfgang. Fuck! I knew our promise was too good to be true! I can't trust any of you guys! And don't say Wolfgang drugged himself! Who wants to be tortured by demons?
Well, stranger people do exist.
That's rich coming from you!
It's just as I predicted. Exploring the pharmacy ended up paving the way for murder. Should I have made more of an attempt to stop people from exploring? Back then, all I did was... With a cautious yet determined expression, the students entered the newly opened pharmacy. Giving everyone an unrestricted access to medication sounded like disaster in the making. But having already invoked the group's eerie, after speaking my mind before, I wasn't about to make the same mistake twice. I just stayed quiet and let them do their thing. Then again, nobody would have listened to me. Especially not with Wolfgang in control.
If we know where the perpetrator got their chemicals, I guess our next step is figuring out how they did the drugging.
Agreed. It would help us better understand the timeline of events, and potentially even validate Diana's testimony.
Sounds like you guys can leave this one to me. I'm the kind of person who knows someone back to front the moment I meet them. If you haven't already realized, I've gone and read this killer like an open book.
You're the last person I trust to reach a correct conclusion.
Just you wait! The second you hear what I gotta say, you'll be eating those words!
Pinning down Wolfgang was down how Wolfgang was drugged may validate Diana's testimony. The question is, how did the killer drug him?
I bet the killer took a pill.
No. Touch quest.
Forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Wolfgang's neck. Odd smell.
Just jab him at that point.
No.
How would the killer make him swallow a pill? There was no proof they restrained him.
Didn't the killer knock Wolfie out? Maybe that was their way of restraining him.
You can't force an unconscious person to swallow a pill.
What if it was a drug you don't need to eat?
Like an inhalable substance?
Oh yeah, like a powder or something.
The pharmacy does have a large collection of over-the-counter sedatives, but there's too many for us to isolate any specific one.
How did the killer drug Wolfgang? Out of all the ideas being thrown around, only one has real merit.
I bet the killer took a pill.
Not a pill.
And forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Just
There we go, jab. Cause it was like a pimple at his neck.
When Wolfgang's wounds were discussed earlier, it was mentioned he had a tiny red dot below the bruise on his neck.
Yep.
During the investigation, I thought this dot was a scab from a mole or pimple. But knowing Wolfgang was drugged, it's clear to see what it really is. A puncture wound.
Considering the timeline of events, an injection would check out. If Wolfgang got drugged a little after 8:15 a.m. and was already feeling the effects when Diana arrived at 8:45 a.m., then we're dealing with something which entered his bloodstream in under 30 minutes. Any normal pill would have taken, probably an hour to dissolve.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the...
Whilst an injection would be much quicker. I see.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the whole, like, alcohol and cereal thing, but no. It'll take... Yeah, it would have taken longer.
That's probably another reason why the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious. It would have been incredibly difficult to inject him if he was still moving around. Only when they had him right where they wanted, dazed and unable to fight back, did they plunge the syringe into his neck.
with said syringe being filled with a hallucinogenic.
But if this all happened a few minutes after 8:15 a.m., doesn't that make it impossible to pin a suspect?
What? Why is it impossible?
Oh, there's a couple of people it could be.
Because everybody's got an alibi for that time. I mean, Damon and I were in my dorm room, and the other party people...
8:15 a.m. Yeah, I was already in the dining hall with Jet, Mark, and Eva.
I left Wolfgang's dorm right after the morning announcement and spent the rest of the hour with Jean.
When Nona and I were in our dorm room together.
And me and Eloise were already sitting down in the courtyard.
Toshiko was giving me the medication she grabbed from the pharmacy.
Hey.
I stayed in my dorm room until 8:40 a.m.
Oh no. If everyone can be accounted for, we really can't discern a suspect.
Hey, I caught it.
So, we're back to square one?
Someone here must be lying.
And doesn't plan to stop.
What's screwing us over here? Is there a part of the mystery we're getting wrong? Or could it be we're overlooking something? Hey, you thinking. Yes, think. It was ruled out as having no relation to the murder, but the wires don't touch the water. But the position of it, in fact, is destroyed timing of the blackout. Coincidence. It's easy to wave off it's easy to wave off, but when it's a coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, then there's something more going on. There's something more to the generator.
If everyone has an alibi for 8:15 a.m., is it possible the killer never actually attacked Wolfie at that time? But his little note said to come by at 8:15 a.m., didn't it?
Ingrid, do you remember what you said when we couldn't figure out who stole Desmond's taser?
To be honest, I'm drawing a blank.
Right.
You suggested we switch subjects and discuss Wolfgang's injuries instead, which we did. As a result, we ended up unraveling more about the case than if we had stuck to the original topic. Right now, we're at a dead end. If we can't get any more leads out of this current discussion, then that's a sign to switch our focus.
Switch our focus to what?
The generator.
Take another look at Diana's testimony.
Mine?
Back when you were describing Wolfgang's death, something stuck out to me.
I won't give up until everyone knows me as Kaboom. I do that Call of Duty Zombies thing. Kaboom. All right. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then so did everything else. Plop. Crack.
The flash of white Diana described must have been the generator exploding, with the darkness afterwards being the blackout. Think about the order of events there. In just a few seconds, The boiler room's generator explodes, and Wolfgang falls over dead. Doesn't it sound like the two are correlated?
Oi, didn't we go over this already?
We did. The generator has nothing to do with Wolfgang's death. Its wires weren't touching the water.
But why would it blow up?
Indeed. Which is why the murder weapon is the taser gun.
Diana said she never used the taser, though.
Then she's lying!
What? That's not true! I never fired the gun!
It's all good. I believe you. Sure, nobody can dispute the gun was fired. What can be disputed, though, is when it got fired.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the killer fired that gun way in advance. Like, sometime before Wolfgang arrived downstairs and left it in the boiler room for us to find later.
What? So the taser gun isn't the murder weapon?
As a
If
part.
Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun or the generator, what other options are we left with?
The taser gun is the only option which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be anything else.
No. There's one other thing. The true murder weapon. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? I'm grasping at straws by thinking something like that.
Anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
Huh?
Ava! What do you mean?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial. The note you showed us? That could be a fake alibi you made for yourself. The fact that it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe. But do you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by. Because if she did write them, everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie.
I get what you're saying. But if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck with the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him?
That's also circumstantial. None of us know what really went on between those two in an hour. Ruling someone out because they took a long time to murder is stupid.
Without context? Sure, I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then she took over an hour to kill him with that info in mind.
Okay, but who would enter? No one wants to make a detour down some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
The most covert place of the most covert place? Her words do make sense. After all, I chose to meet Tozu in the boiler room for that very same reason.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun. But where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What?
Didn't we already talk about that?
All you guys did was discuss theories, never anything concrete. Settling for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line. In the same way Ava can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators.
So we have to figure out what destroyed the generator? What should we do? Just throw out ideas?
It's what we've been doing this whole time.
Oakley dokley. All right, everyone. Let's put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks, get set, go!
Oh my gosh. Here we go, another non-stop debate. Oh, there's shrapnel as well. Yeah, I knew
The
it.
generator blow up.
Could have just been an electrical fault.
So, a coincidence?
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser involved.
Shrapnel. Yup, I caught it. I caught it instantly.
Unfortunately, Ava, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder. But there's one possibility you didn't consider. The shrapnel in the water.
Do you mean those bits of red metal which were floating around?
Right. The ones that look like the aftermath of an explosion. Due to their proximity to the generator, it's safe to assume the two are connected.
Can't that just be debris left by the generator?
Nope.
Except this debris is a completely different color. It lacks the rust the generator has accumulated. We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else, which means an object we haven't yet identified was caught in the explosion.
And floating near it was another out of place item.
This is it.
Yup.
In the water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away.
Did the cord get caught in the explosion?
Somebody created a bomb.
Seems that cord has the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
From what I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply seems to be kept inside storage closet D. So in a way, yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place.
Storage closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark. And after the power came on, Kai came screaming for us to leave our closets. But I do recall seeing some extension cords peeking out from behind a shelf.
Since we already know the killer raided one storage closet, anyone else willing to bet they raided this one too?
The hell did they need an extension cord for?
Probably something involving the generator, given its proximity to the cord.
Same thing with the red bits, even though we don't know what they are.
Right, the red shrapnel. It definitely isn't debris left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least not any of the clues that I've already been discussed in the trial. If I were to flip my thinking and consider the clues we haven't discussed yet, there's no proof what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel, but when all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards one that hasn't. The one thing the mysterious shrapnel might be related to. No. Oops. The odd smell.
This is it.
Hold that thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues.
Yeah, the odd smell.
During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did, well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together.
Cereal and alcohol? Talk about specific.
Mm-hmm. 'Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play.
Wait, you recognize the smell?
Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal, or fruits, or eggs. I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it had completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
Okay.
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator?
Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us, the shrapnel.
Can someone translate this into less complicated talk?
It was just a long-winded way of saying he's using process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered. Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals.
So we're looking for a metal object, which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Looking at my notes... When we originally visited the pharmacy, I recorded everything I saw.
He's gonna be killed next.
A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
I got lots of metallic objects in my dorm room, but nothing chemical. Just big old slabs of metal.
Big old slabs of metal. Why does that sound so familiar? Hold on. That's right. What Ingrid said just now is similar to what she said in the night everyone began bunking together. No. I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools, like tools and metals. At the time, people were talking about their dorm rooms being themed around their talents. Could it be? Could the shrapnel actually be the remnants of the unique device that the guy boasted about having in his room? Only one way to know for sure. Guy is to put you on the spot. I'm confident the person in mind is a guy. Oh!
It has to be you!
No way!
Jet, I need to ask you something.
What's up?
Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room?
Like, a full-on list?
Whatever works.
Sure thing. I got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories.
Oh no! Don't tell me. No! I refuse to believe it.
Blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries, wheels, spare brakes, you name it. Oh, I even have the legendary mantle from the 1984's Grand Prix winning Speedster.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Cool. So, why'd you want to know? Unless... Wait, I'm not being suspected, am I? No. Don't try to rope me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder.
I know you don't. You have an alibi.
Yeah. But I
The
don't...
only reason I ask is because that mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries.
Yeah.
What?
I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
And lithium? That's an explosive substance. If it made contact with water, gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
Wouldn't someone have heard an explosion, though?
Yeah, we
I
did.
Really?
During the tournament, right before we lost power.
Oi, that's right. That was a boom.
Wait! I remember hearing it too!
I initially assumed the generator made the noise somehow. But if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance...
Hey, Jet, were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
You don't know for sure?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging. The packaging isn't red, I can tell you that, but the actual batteries? Yeah, I got nothing.
So it can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt?
Pretty much.
Why?
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
When a lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust? I think, once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
Dang, this case is so
A lithium
long.
battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Lithium isn't a metal I've worked with, but it got beat into my head never to mix it with substances it doesn't like. All that electricity, the battery would have let out when it hit the water. It must have went straight into poor Wolfie.
There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay. If the reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded. That's really weird.
Is it?
According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
Huh?
Huh. Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blackens can only be a student who kills another student. And Diana.
It was only
Oh,
Diana
who kills-
and Wolfgang in the boiler room.
Okay, who
so
kills
unless
another
Diana
s-
herself was the one to throw the battery.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, it's only a student who kills another student. Okay, so it's not a suicide. I can't rule that out yet.
Then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I didn't throw the battery. I promise.
And the shrapnel and the generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'd admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is, a possibility. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until we oh my goodness, I'm like chatting. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit yet. I probably didn't read that last part correctly, but the extension cord, I know exactly what it is.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
That is true.
Batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
Everybody's quick to say the battery was thrown, but when I consider the boiler room, which objects the killer could have leveraged? That person considers impossibility starting to sound. Person considered impossibility starting to sound anything but.
If the battery is related to the case,
Mhm.
only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
No. Dang it.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut.
Mhm.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though. The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described? If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun? Maybe it's a red herring. Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from.
No.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
No.
Damon.
Game over. What's the logic here?
If the battery is related to the case,
So extension cord. There was no internal plug, only frayed by substance. Function fully intact. What was the other ones? Shrapnel. Chunks are floating near the generator. Oh, it's floating near the generator of the water. Okay, I think that might be it.
only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described? If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun? Maybe it's a red herring. Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from.
Oh, that's not it?
The evidence tells.
Okay, never mind.
If the battery is related to the case,
Mhm.
only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut.
Lifting a battery would hurt too much. Neo batteries are.
Pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere.
Oh, it could have fallen from the generator. Yeah, the generator was pretty high up.
No. The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two. However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, would need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot. Which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again.
Yeah. Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over to me if he wanted.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of? Except the generator.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
Yep. Not on top, but maybe. What position was the battery in? Suspended, leaning over the generator. Suspended over the generator.
I got it.
Yeah.
The battery may have been suspended over the generator.
Suspended over.
The battery was suspended by something. Then the presence of that item started to make a lot more sense. Yep.
This is it.
Yep.
The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator. If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it.
I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm is bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord. So, what if she didn't? Something else may have been supporting the cord instead.
Something like... What was holding the cord? Either... No. An object, yeah, an object. I was about to say, not... Oh.
Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
Ugh, my head's starting to spin.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. If I imagine the cord and the battery, it's tied around in front of a generator in the same spot where the shrapnel has surfaced. Oh, let me see if is that it? Yeah.
The killer tied the cord to the vent.
What vent?
The one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember some light shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is. The vent itself is set a bit far back into the wall. So, you probably assumed the spot was a small window or something.
If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wallpaper thin, or...?
There's two vents. The boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know these details.
How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
Ava helped me reach the vent.
By?
Letting me sit on her shoulders.
Quite the visual.
Don't rub it in. Anyway.
If the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent, and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
What do you mean?
Alright. The plot is thickening. Oh my gosh, man. It's like I can't even get any commentary in. So just like, alright. Hopefully we reach the end of this, and then I'll get into my commentary. But here we go.
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
I see. It is an impossible setup.
Not necessarily. The killer can have a greatly reduced length cord by doing that. How did the killer reduce the length of the cord? Tying the cord around Wolfgang, wrapping the cord around the battery.
I got it.
Yeah.
The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy. If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they need to wrap a lot of cord around it. Probably to the point there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by. So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water.
So much effort.
Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances?
How? Simple. You make sure it's on like a higher height by adjusting the cord's position, yeah. All the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. Let's see. Show the question.
This is it. Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room. Part of my inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side.
The vent can be opened?
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed. In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system. To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pulling the entire cord backwards. Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself. Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move.
Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one. Which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components.
Oh boy.
Which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
The boiler room vent.
I think I have an idea who it is.
Funny. Earlier, You said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent? Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent, but I failed to consider that the ventilation shaft, in between. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you reach down into that shaft. Not just only that, I failed to test to see never test to see if the boiler room vent can open up inwards. Only the opposite side of inwards. I only got it to open outwards. Okay, by that logic, a vent on the opposite side of the shaft. Yeah, opposite. Logic on the opposite side of the shaft. Okay.
This could only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way, there's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right, when you described opening the boiler room vent.
Wrapping my fingers around the grates in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Yeah.
Exactly. After which, you can slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end for the killer to then go and tie to the...
Actually...
Oh boy, here we go.
Hello?
What is it now?
There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
The logistics?
Its size.
We're back to discussing this again. Never mind. I'll find a way to combat his argument, just like I've done countless times already. Alright, rebuttal showdown. Here we go. Breakout extension cord.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
His argument might have made sense if it weren't for one fatal flaw.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
Dang it.
I don't see a problem here. The killer doesn't even need to open that vent, because they could simply slide the cord between the grates.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
His argument
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't.
There we go.
I'll cut through those words!
They were thin. They were very
If you
thin.
insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through.
Yep.
You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in Storage Closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent. Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either.
I see. When put like that, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
Yeah.
How'd you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord? This is crazy.
At the same time, what he's describing sounds plausible.
Mm-hmm.
Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did. Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic. So, it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water. Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realized only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they'd probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong.
Well, all of this certainly changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent and needed to be operating from the dining hall,
All the
then
people.
everyone who attended the tournament is a suspect.
It's just a suspect. Yup. I'm glad she caught it. I'm so glad she caught it.
No way!
Yup. I'm glad she caught it. One of the tournament attendees is the killer. Damn it. How did I not realize sooner? The fact that the killer could access the event means they could have been at the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
So we can reduce it down to 8 people. Damon, Kai, Grace, Eva, Cassidy, Jed, Mark, and John.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hmm.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights went out.
I had to play music.
Me too.
You never touched my equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon play.
I was spectating as well.
Me too.
Oh boy, here we go.
Me 3! And Cass 2, I think? I was too focused on the game to remember who was or wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 of y'all were crowded round the same spot?
Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent.
Seems like someone is lying again.
The tournament participant who flipped the vent could be deduced who that person is determined by their positions directly before the blackout. The problem is I myself have been totally preoccupied with the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? While I never got a good look at the others, I can still deduce their general positions if they were near me. From whether or not I heard them. Think, Damon, think. Who and what didn't I hear back then? It was you. The only person I never heard. It was you. Who did I not hear? Was it Jet? No, it wasn't Jet. It wasn't Jet. I think about it. I was pretty sure you. Yeah. No, it wasn't Jet. It wasn't Jet. No, Kai was next to me. Was it Grace? No, it wasn't Grace. Dang it. I don't remember Cassidy. Oh, it might be Cassidy. No, it wasn't Cassidy. Never mind. No, I'm over here guessing. I forgot whose voice I didn't hear. I think it was Mark. Hold on, I think it was Mark. I think it was Mark. That said, he was definitely mixing. Okay, never mind. No. Him and sitting next to him when the blackout happened. You need to focus on the position of the tournament goers. Oh man, I forgot. Who didn't I hear before the blackout? No way.
It has to be you.
Eva. It's too on the nose.
The killer is Ava.
Yup.
Huh?
Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for. Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad. And everyone else? I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone except Ava. In fact, the last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
So Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man! And the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud!
Don't blame me. I was just doing what I was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
The plot thickens.
I didn't flip the vent.
Well, Damon says you did.
No.
Damon says a lot of things.
While you aren't technically wrong, I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
What plot holes?
Everything is like logically sound.
The cord.
What?
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question. He left a cord tied to the vent.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
It never was disposed.
You got me there.
How did Eva get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible if she knew to untie it at the right time. The cord was never disposed. During the blackout.
I got it. To dispose of the cord, you just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
I'm not like you, I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until I'm known as... Okay. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else. Plop. Ah!
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story, you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
Then, do you think...
Eva.
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier.
Eva.
I should have known. The kid who lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozy trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Sadaka would kill Wolfgang!
You're right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Yeah.
Even so, the sheer volume of items Eva had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes. I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Why you say it like that?
No one steals from me.
They already did.
Oh.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let this conversation continue like this. Eva did, in fact, have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use... the boxes.
Ava grabbed one of the boxes.
That's setting myself up. Removing a box would
flexing your mathematical prowess.
I'm saying Damon would have noticed if a box was missing, since there's so few of them to start with. But he never noticed anything, because there were just as many boxes as there were last time.
Couldn't you just move the box back after using it?
Then the underside of the box would be wet, which it wasn't.
This I can confirm. My notes on the box's exteriors mention nothing about watermarks.
Damn it, Damon, what are you thinking? I do not know. No. Let me see if there's this. No.
I'm not tall enough.
Dang it. Game over. I'm not sure exactly how she would have done it, though. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really not sure. It's not the boxes.
This is it.
Wait, what?
Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
Wait, what?
She would have known about those boxes in advance, too.
Wait, hold on. I just...
Okay, I could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator.
Wait, that's confusing, because I just pointed to the boxes, so it was the other part of boxes? Okay, whatever.
And I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Eh?
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup.
The vent was closed?
See, there's no way I can execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Sheesh.
What the? That's bullshit.
Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one!
Shit.
The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you, and only you! Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise!
Oh boy, here we go again. Oh, there's so much, man.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord, with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes...
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the
game tournament.
And now you're saying I'm a killer.
Never mind. What was said before? Focus on what the facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
So...
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord, with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes...
What if... Let me see the generator. Half the generator wires are melted and remain intact. It's completely saying it's like a bomb went off inside the machine. Inside the machine.
Less evidence for that!
Evidence.
Oh, she is right. Toshiko is right. Oh, Toshiko's right. Hold
The
on.
murderer just because I sat near a vent. That seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Oh, Toshiko's on timing. Hold on.
Understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't the vent that triggered it.
Oh, never
We'd
mind.
already established the vent.
You
Dang
can't
it.
say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are,
Mm.
and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord, with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes...
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament.
There we go.
No, that's wrong!
There's a game tournament one. Okay.
No. It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier, but the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit.
No.
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this. You're totally throwing the audience for a loop, and not in a good way.
Except neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held.
Eva did.
The only person to determine that was Ava.
Was Ava, yeah. Yup. Mm-hmm. When I was training my talent, I did most of my studying at 9 a.m. Yup. Mm-hmm. The brain is most active and ready to absorb information around that time. I think this effect could help our video game skills. 9 a.m. tourney? Wouldn't it be the first time? Yep, I remember. Screw it, let's do 9 a.m. 1 hour after the morning announcement.
Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow. So when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create an alibi for herself.
Yup.
That's insane. How could she have come up with something like that on the spot?
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly.
So the answer, her question: why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open event? Oh. And when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the tournament began, I can discern exactly when Eva opened the vent. When did Eva open the vent? After breakfast? No, my fault. That was a bad one. After stacking the furniture?
I got it.
There we go.
Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say?
Caught him.
When did I tell you this again?
Before the tournament?
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start redecorating, right?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
Though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
All right. Then tell me what happened last night.
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining hall at around 8:40 p.m. probably. We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room, maybe a little more to the right. Then we all went back to our dorms. Well, I was kind of hungry, so I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
Hold the phone! If those sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why did I see one over in the corner this morning?
Oh.
Because Eva pushed it there.
Eva what?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament. Just watch it from the side. That's what she told me. I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, aye? The one next to the coffee table.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
When the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through. Yeah, a vent.
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating your trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid the internal plug through both vents. After going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves a sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then, she walks back in and opens the vent.
So Eva took complete advantage of them?
Yup.
Not my fault those two are so trusting.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie about a lot of important things. Her talent being one of them.
She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no?
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out.
Hey, can we backtrack a little? Like, to before all this Ava talk?
Why? What happened?
It's to do with the chair's position.
The chair.
You guys keep saying it was in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent.
Ava probably just moved it during the blackout.
Eh?
Oh no.
Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's range. Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh man! So I totally fell for it?
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m., then Eva came a few minutes later.
Uh-oh.
She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah, and in turn exacerbate the effects of the other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall, some even sandwiched into corners they didn't need to be. Ava probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
Still.
That seems a lot for Eva,
I
though.
entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So, wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.?
According to Ava, she arrived around 8:10 a.m., but it's possible she actually arrived much later. Since there's no clock in the dining hall, he just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating. For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator.
Okay, now one more instance, because this is long. This is a long recording. Oh my gosh. So one thing is missing is the drug part, because we initially like who drugged them. I think that's the main thing we haven't figured out yet, though. I don't think how he was drugged, or I should say.
Pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
How I closed the vent.
Huh?
No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent. Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed.
Yep.
So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament. That's stupid. Someone is definitely going to notice that sort of conspicuous movement. It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're going to notice.
How did we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
Eva's right. Standing up would look really suspicious. Which is exactly why she used that to circumvent the problem. What allowed Eva to close the vent without tracing suspicion?
This is it.
Yeah, the chair itself.
The location of your chair bypasses this problem entirely. To close the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
Set the chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already set to that position at the start of the tournament, including Ava's.
Oh boy.
With her chair in recline, Ava can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position. It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention. Especially those focused on watching a video game competition. Well, am I wrong?
This isn't funny. Just because I was sitting in front of the vent doesn't mean I was the one who triggered the mechanism.
No one can sneak up behind you without drawing attention, especially when all the lights were still on.
That's just dumb! Where I was sitting shouldn't make me a murderer.
Even so, with everything we've spoken about...
Everything? Did you already forget what was said earlier?
We forgot one more thing, and that's the drugs.
Just look at all the items I would need to set up this murder. The battery, the extension cord, the rolling pin, the taser, the syringe, and the supposed drug used with it. How could I have collected all of those things? Wolfgang and everyone else hated me because I lied about my talent. They were on their guard whenever I was around. You think Jet and Desmond would just let me walk into their rooms and take their stuff?
That's true. We still haven't explained how she robbed 2 people's rooms without being caught.
Unless you can prove I had the chance to get all this stuff, you can't make me out to be the killer.
Fine. I'll show proof. Only you could obtain the items necessary for this murder.
How did Eva attain the items for his murder? Had Desmond's blackmail? Ooh.
I got it. Ava, you were well aware of the existence of those items. For starters, everyone heard about Jet's battery. It was common knowledge due to his boasting.
Wait, so it's all my fault? Ouch.
Since the dorms aren't locked, you could have easily snuck in and grabbed the battery while no one was inside. The battery is lightweight too, so you wouldn't have trouble carrying it. For the rest of your plan, the syringe and drugs are both readily available in the pharmacy. And as for the taser, you may not have known about its existence right away, but you still had every incentive to search Desmond's room. Because you received his blackmail.
Yup. Yup.
Eva? You knew my blackmail this whole time and never said anything?
So what?
Huh?
So what if I knew? I wasn't the only one. Damon knew your blackmail as well.
Oh, yeah. He read it out loud to everyone earlier, didn't he?
Damon knew almost everything I did. He knew where the items used in this murder were stored. He knew the layout of the boiler room and the storage closets. He knew all sorts of things. The only thing he didn't know is the one thing more important than any piece of physical evidence.
The hell are you talking about?
See, you still don't know. You still don't know that we never saw eye to eye.
Huh?
Eye to eye on the not killing each other stuff?
On Wolfgang. Damon saw the way Wolfgang scolded me and treated me like a bad guy, and he thought I hated him the same way he did. But unlike Damon, I never wanted Wolfgang to die.
What the?
Whoa! That's a loaded accusation.
Not a first for this trial.
If you thought you saw the worst of Damon after the dummy trial, you underestimate just how low he can stoop.
Get out of here.
I practically risked my life pretending to be his ally, but in return, he let me see the extent of his deceitfulness.
Get out of here.
Which is why I can tell everyone that Damon has Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh gosh.
Eva, you?
Any reason you didn't tell us this earlier?
Well, I didn't think it was incriminating at first.
Not even when he refused to come forward about it?
That was weird, but I didn't want to make accusations at the time because it could have just been his ego talking. Only after watching him reject the taser gun over this dumb mechanism he made up did I realize I had potential evidence on my hands.
Damon, do you have your blackmail on you? Don't worry about reading it out loud or anything. Just show the image. That's all you gotta do.
Oh boy. Did Ava really never trust me? Why then did she disclose so much to me? Why did she tell me? Yeah, she never trusted you. It was very obvious. It's because I trust you. Yeah, she lied. No, this can't be at the forefront of my mind right now. I'm on the cusp of bringing this case to a close. What Eva thinks about me shouldn't matter. What she thinks about me. You took my side way back at the beginning, remember? We were the only people who refused to listen to that lawyer, and you helped solve the mystery behind that whole case. No one thanked you, though. Thanked you, though. I'm really sorry about how things turned out. The other students wouldn't have treated you unfairly if it wasn't for me. Damn it. This entire time I've been judging the others for how trusting they are, not even realizing, yup. I was blindly following the words of a stranger. And now everyone here, they're gonna hold this blackmail crap against me even more than if I just came forward earlier. Yup. Should have trusted everybody else except her. Even so, what? What choice do I have? No one will let the discussion continue unless I tell the truth.
Fine. I'll show it. But only the picture, as requested.
With those words, I retrieved the envelope from my pocket. I pulled out the photo.
He's married?
Ingrid, Wolfgang doesn't have blue eyes.
So, who is this then? His parents?
I mean, why else would the guy look like him?
Given the year this photo was taken, these two people must be his parents. Look at what's printed at the bottom. April 17th, 2001. We know how old Wolfgang is because of the student reports. In 2001, he wasn't even born yet.
But why his parents? Are they being held against their will?
You can't leave us hanging, Damo! You gotta read out what it says!
All right, had to take a little break there. This game is long. Oh my gosh. You can't leave us hanging, Damo. You gotta read what it says.
That's not what was asked of me. And even if I had to, I don't think someone who can't explain himself should have his secrets revealed to everyone.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Precisely.
For the record, I know what Wolfgang's blackmail says, but it didn't change my outlook on him. I don't think it's possible for anyone to hate someone like Wolfgang. He was always brave in the face of sheer adversity, and encouraged everyone else to act likewise. Wolfgang challenged me to be a better person. Wolfgang challenged all of us to be better people. And maybe Ava simply couldn't rise to his challenge.
Don't listen to him! He's trying to divert everyone from the truth.
And what is that truth?
Even though Wolfgang and I didn't always see eye to eye, my respect for him and his talent never wavered. Why would someone like me harm him? Me, who's been leading this trial much the same way he led the one before. I may have questioned the idea no one here would kill, but that doesn't make me someone who wants to see bloodshed.
He does! He does want bloodshed! We have all the proof he's a cold-blooded killer! Wolfgang's blackmail, which he lied about having!
That's not enough.
But wasn't Damon playing?
Nothing he says should be trusted. Nothing he says about me, or anything else.
Yeah, he was playing games.
It is odd that we place faith in a man who does not have faith in us. So much so, these discussions are mostly led by his own conjecture.
If Damon isn't the killer, though, why would he try to mislead anyone? Like, he and I were playing a game when the murder happened, and multiple people can vouch for us.
Not to mention, the things he's been saying make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Truth has no personal alliance. That's why.
Even if he wasn't here, we'd arrive at the same conclusion anyway.
Depends who you mean by we.
Right.
Then, you all still think I'm the killer?
Someone needs to be voted by the end of this.
Don't just say it like that.
Ouch! My ears!
How would I know? How would I know when to drop it?
Drop what?
Vote her out of here. Vote her out. Vote her out.
Damon says the killer dropped the battery when Diana was already in the boiler room. But how would I know when Diana was in the boiler room? It's not as if I could listen out for her. The music speakers are too loud. And the dining hall has no clocks, so it'd be impossible for me to know if it was 8:45 a.m.
Right. Only Mark's DJ pad had a clock.
Maybe Ava asked Mark for the time.
She never spoke to me.
We never spoke! I never even got up from my chair! Besides, how could I be sure Diana arrived on time anyway? If you can't explain how I knew when to drop the battery, then shut up and stop accusing me!
Eva makes a decent point. How did she drop the battery in time? Did she rely on chance? No, that doesn't seem likely. Her entire plan fails if the timing isn't right. Come on, think. If my years of debate have taught me anything, I need to look at this from another angle. If I just take it from the top, while assuming Eva is the killer, how did Eva know when to drop the battery? She could have saw Diana enter, or saw Diana enter, right?
I got it.
Saw, yeah.
The only way the killer would have known when to spring their trap was by seeing Diana enter the room. Any uncertainty would ruin the plan, and the dining hall was too loud to hear anything over.
So where did she watch Diana from? There's only two possible places. From the vent. From the vent.
Trying to look into the boiler room through the...
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm just clicking things at this point. Oh, maybe from like the water? I wish I would like show different things so I can click. Okay, no. There's not those boxes there.
This is it.
Cameras.
It's impossible to see anything from the vent, which means the only way anyone could see into the room was by using the school cameras.
Say what?
I don't understand how, but Ava must have used the camera.
Is she working with the kidnappers?
Are you kidding me? How the hell would I have access to the camera?
In order to actually see what happening on the security cameras, you would need access to. Naturally, it would have been some sort of screen. A screen, duh. Thinking back on it, there's various clues we've discussed. I can't pinpoint anything. It feels like a deja vu, doesn't it? Hold on. Pinpoint anything which could provide provide an answer to that question. When all the other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards that. Well, jeez. When all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards one which still remains. The one thing we have yet to discuss. Eva, it's time to bring an end to what you started. For better or for worse. This one will be your final lie. Wait, hold. It's time to solve the final piece of the puzzle. However, it won't be without a fight. Announcing argument altercation. Okay. So noise bullet, shift focus, move player. In this game, you battle your opponent. You and your opponent will battle each other in a bullet hell extravaganza. Dodge your opponent attacks, shoot down their arguments, and solve the case. Okay. Use WAS keys to move, spacebar to fire, noise bullets, and you can focus by pressing left shift key, which will slow the battle temporarily. Your opponent will fire their own bullets, so be sure to use your abilities strategically to avoid damage. They will also make statements of their own. Oh, and in this game, with shield, meaning they cannot be damaged by any means. Okay, I'm just going towards clicking so I can read everything. But worry not, you can weaken their shield by breaking their statements with your own bullets. Breaking their statements also charges your mega bullet. You'll want to press the F key to fire that one. Why? Well, it's the only way to damage your opponent. If you miss, don't worry, just break more statements in order to recharge your mega bullet. After a certain amount of hits, you will progress to the next stage of the battle, and your opponent will become more frenzied, and their attacks will become more wilder. Once they finally run out of HP, your opponent will ask you their burning question, WASD, in the correct order to solve the case. If you fail, you have to start over from the last stage battle. Okay. However, losing all of your HP will force you to restart from the very beginning, so I suggest you don't do that. This is quite a lot of information, so so feel free to press F2 in order to refresh your save. I would say have fun, but your life actually depends on it, so get going. All right. Argument altercation.
Who cares about the camera? Who cares about the camera? Who cares about the camera? It's Damon who's suspicious. I didn't see anything. Who cares about the camera? I just wanted to help. I just wanted to help.
Oh my gosh, I got bullet hell.
Who cares about the camera? Ouch! Damon, I thought you trusted me. Why would I kill anyone?
Oh no. Yeah, don't do that. Oh my gosh. Why did I have to do bullet hell?
I just wanted to help.
I failed that.
Who
Oops.
cares about the camera? Why would I kill anyone? I didn't see anything. Who cares about the camera? Why would I kill anyone?
I failed again.
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. It's... why won't you believe me?
I put this on kind, please.
Anything. Why would I kill anyone? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Oh my gosh, I hate when people... I hate bullet hell stuff.
Who cares about the camera?
That's like my only weakness of video games.
Who cares about the camera? Why would... There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
When I say bullet hell are my only weaknesses in video games, they are my only weakness.
Why would I kill anyone?
I swear.
Why would I kill anyone?
I do not like bullet hell.
It's Damon who's suspicious. I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's suspicious. Why would I kill anyone? I didn't see it. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. I didn't see anything. Damon, I thought you trusted me. I didn't see anything. Who cares about the camera? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't. I didn't see anything. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Who cares about the camera?
Because I hate that. I hate when they do that.
It's Damon who's suspicious. Why would I kill
I missed it again.
I just wanted to help. This isn't fair. Why won't you believe me? I didn't see anything. This isn't fair. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Why would I kill anyone? I just wanted to help. This isn't fair. Who cares about the camera? It's Damon who's suspicious. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't fair. I just wanted to help. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. It's Damon who's suspicious. Why would I kill anyone? This isn't fair. How could I access the security camera?
Shut
up! Who cares about the camera?
Ah!
I just wanted to help. Why would I kill? This isn't fair. Who cares about the camera? This isn't fair. Ouch! How could I access the security
Eva's
camera?
personal game console.
It's over. Ava, we know the truth.
No!
Yep.
Kill me!
My goodness.
What you said was true, Ava. Whether or not the trap works depends on if the killer can see inside the boiler room.
I was confused at first.
Question. How does the killer see
Eva's
inside?
what?
They can't just get on their knees and peek through the vent. Everyone in the dining hall would notice.